So modal verbs are words such as can, could, should, shall, would. All such words are modal verbs. Why do we use such words? To talk about ability, capability of something, somebody, or to talk about the possibility or probability of few things. So let's move on to some activity. In IELTS speaking, you get different topics and you talk about possibilities, capabilities, and all such things. So whatever it may be, here, these words have been put, of course, like you use could, might, may. You have to talk about the possibility of your future plans. So it's not only these models that you're going to use, you can use the others also, according to the requirement. Please select a topic for yourself. I'll be asking everyone to speak, but the time, how much time will you get? Maximum 1 minute, not more than that. I'll ask you to stop when 1 minute is over. And you can select a topic from here. You can talk about your graduation, maybe in the future if you're planning, getting a new job, getting married, getting a new pet at home, buying a new home, starting a new hobby, making new friends, becoming fluent in English, learning another language besides English. Oh yes, if you have to go to Canada and if you learn French or any other language, that'll give you additional points. Traveling, retiring. Choose a topic. I'm giving you 1 minute to think. Let's start. And I'll be giving you my feedback at the end after everyone has spoken. Not in between, so that there's no disturbance in between. That's why I'll just make a note of what we're going to say. Okay, let's move on to Deepak. Yes, Deepak, start.
I could get married next year.
So not just one sentence, talk about it.
Like I will talk about it. Like, okay. I need time to think.
All right. Anyway, when you said you could get married next year, that means some possibility is there, not much. Right? You're thinking about it.
Yeah.
Okay, let me move on to Kaplesh Kumar. Yes, Kaplesh?
Yes, ma'am.
Start.
I would love to travel on hilly areas with my friends who also used to make the journey more pleasant by doing the great adventuring things and make it memorable. That's it, ma'am.
Okay. Yes, Krishna?
So today I would like to talk about one decision that I made yesterday, and I want to change my habit. That was I can say that it is a habitual thing of my life, and it would be dangerous for my health also. So it was, I want to stop drinking regular tea and start to drink green tea. And I want to be habitual with the green tea. That is my hobby.
Okay, thank you. Let me ask Manmeet now. Yes, Manmeet, start.
I might go for a trip next month. The weather may become less colder. I have asked one of my close friends if she could accompany me.
Okay. Remember, you all can speak for 1 minute, huh? Anyway, let me move on to the next one. Who's there? Ramya, start.
Yes, ma'am, I'll just try. I would like to buy a home in the future because it will be after some 5 years, or it will be after 5 years, because I need to save money to buy a house. At present, I don't have. So yeah, after once I go to abroad and I'll earn money, and I think I would be able to buy after once I save the money, because I need to buy a proper good house, big house to accommodate all my family members. So it might take some time for me to save money. I don't want to take a loan and buy a house. I don't want to get into risk. We don't know in future how it's going to happen. We cannot predict that. So I wish to save the money, and then I will go further to take to buy a house. The decision I've
Good.
taken.
That'll do, Ramya. That was pretty good.
So, thank you.
Let me move on to next. Yes, Prabjit, start please.
Yes, since I have decided to get immigrated to some other country, so I may buy a new home over there. So it's my dream to buy a new home outside the India as well. So I can have my 2 homes in India as well and in the other country. So I can spend some time in India as well and some time in other countries as well. And definitely it will be tough to stay in a rented house. It will be quite costly for me.
Okay. Sneha,
Yeah, ma'am.
start please.
Yeah. I might end up buying a house if my husband helps me a little financially. I'm looking for a 2 BHK which should be measuring at least 1300 square feet. I can compromise on the area but not on the society. The security must be alert all the time. I could have bought a house long back, but then I had no strong financial account support. Yeah.
Okay, good. Yes, Sora, go ahead.
I would like to get a new job in UK in future. Now I am a MSc student. I wish to pursue my PhD in UK, and after that I would have get a new job there. I think I ought to read a lot and focus on my research for that.
Okay, good. Yes, Himaja. Himaja.
I thought it's just I have to tell about future plans using
Yes.
this.
So go ahead, start.
Okay. So I would like to get a new job. This is my future plan, but this is only after I move to other country on my after I get IELTS score above 7, so that I can choose universities to join over there. So I'm looking for a PG course over there in a data science. So that will be around 1 year or maybe the 2 years course. So that is the next thing. After that, I'm looking for a job, which is my short-term goal currently.
Okay, fine. But the models were not that many, but good enough. This one who is there as 1+, I don't know the name. I've transferred the control to you. Go ahead, please.
Hello.
Yes, could I have your name, please?
Yes, I'm Simrat.
All right, Simrat, start please.
As I have plans to immigrate to foreign country, I would like to learn a new language other than English, and that would be French. French opens the door to study abroad, and taking out time from a hectic schedule will be a challenging task for me. But I think this new skill will surely add to my knowledge and curriculum.
All right, so whatever you used correctly. Anita, you did not speak. Would you like to? Anita and
Yes,
Deepak?
ma'am.
Yes, Anita, go ahead.
As change is a part of life, I would like to start a new hobby to be more punctual so that I can complete my work on time. I would also like to start a healthy diet plan that will make me physically fit and mentally strong.
All right, good. Let's move on. Good. You all spoke well. No, one was really good. You said would like to. So whenever we use words like, love, we use would. I would love to. I would like to. We don't say I will like to. So that was really good. But if you have to talk about future, you won't say I could have got that next year. I might get, or I might do that. So for next year, we won't say I could have got or I might have got. We won't put it this way because this way you talk about past. And rest was good. One, Kapleshwar, please explain to me. You said who also used to. You talked about your friends. And you were talking about present or future.
Mhm.
Could you just come again?
Yes, ma'am.
Right, just go ahead. You talked about something and you used to. And I feel you used it wrongly.
Okay, ma'am. So do you want me to repeat the sentence?
Yes, go ahead.
Just a moment. Yeah. So my sentence was, I would love to travel on hilly areas with my friends who used to, who also used to make the journey more pleasant and memorable.
Wait. Who also used to. So are you talking about their past habit?
Yes, ma'am.
When was it that they did it? You would like to go with your friends who are fond of traveling?
Yes, ma'am.
So say who are fond of. You cannot use who used to over here.
Okay, ma'am.
Wrong.
Yeah. Thank you, ma'am.
Okay, good. Let's continue. Now, you have to give advice to save the environment. Save the environment around you. Give advice. And obviously, you're going to use ought to, should, had better, must, need to. So somebody, maybe you get a question that pollution is increasing day by day in our cities. So what advice would you like to give to save the environment? This is the question that I have asked you. How do you think we can save our environment?
By taking oath to not to pollute the environment by throwing plastics or garbages.
All
and
right. Definitely we can do that, but think that you are you have to use these words: ought to, should, had better. So let's have complete sentence.
Yeah.
I need two or three sentences from everyone.
Okay, ma'am.
Yes.
So for that, we should work on the garbage management plan very strongly. So to maintain the garbage management plan, we should first learn. We should first start learning how to segregate the garbage, and after that, after segregation, we should give them to the municipal municipality. They have kept the box. Garbage area, designated garbage area, so there we can throw it.
Right, that will do. Yes, Anita, go ahead. And you can use the other models also. But of course, for advice, we'll be using these. Like advice, we use should, had better, must has been included in between. If you feel something is compulsory, need to is a necessity, then necessity. Right? Had better, you can also use have to if you feel like, according to the requirement. Deepak?
We ought to use public transport more often. We should plant more trees, and we must avoid the use of plastic.
So when you said you must, that then according to you, right? That is definitely a necessity. All right, good. Right. Let's have Ramya. Yes, Ramya, start.
Yes, ma'am. So I would like to give advice on keeping environment clean. So we should reduce the usage of plastics, and in future to save our environment, we all had better not to pollute the environment by littering all the places around our in our environment.
So when you said you had better, so you said you had better not to pollute the environment. We had better not to pollute. No to it.
Okay, not to pollute. We had better not to pollute.
Just listen to me. Just hear me.
Yes, ma'am. Yes,
we had better not pollute.
Not to, okay, not pollute. Yes, ma'am.
No two in between. Okay.
Okay.
Yes, Prabjit, go ahead. Yes, Prabjit.
So we should grow more and more plants. We should use glass bottles than plastic one. And to make electric vehicles successful, government must have lot of electric stations for the charging stations.
Good enough. Sneha? Yes, Sneha?
We as citizens of our country must do our duty towards saving our environment. We need to plant more trees in terms of decreasing the pollution. In terms to decrease the pollution, we had better stop using plastic.
Right. Otherwise, we'll have to face the consequences. Right. Yes, Saurabh?
The consequences is what I wanted to.
Correct. Yes, Saurabh?
Yes, ma'am. we had better focus on the cleanliness of our environment to save ourselves in future. For that, we need to make plan for garbage management, and we ought to focus on tree plantation.
Okay, so you feel like morally, if
Yes,
something is correct, then that's your obligation. So we use ought to. Okay, Simrat?
To
Yes.
save the environment, we should stop activities like dumping of garbage or discharge of factory waste into water bodies. And the other is we must make a use of more renewable resources.
Perfect, good. There's a question there in the chat box. Before we move on, let me just look at that. Using ought to. Ought to is used when we think that something is morally correct. What is morally? What is our moral obligation? What's a moral duty in our society? We ought to keep our surroundings clean. That's a moral responsibility in the society. It's not that somebody has to tell us because of the situation it's correct, but we ought to do that. We ought to keep our surroundings clean. So we should. Of course, these days people do not use ought to, and should is used. And that's how it is. Let's continue. And let me just move on. Here. So I'm going to play something. Today, let's practice a little bit of listening to. And please remember, now there's a change also in IELTS listening. You won't hear any example. So be careful. And of course, there are times when the students tell that everything was very fast. The speaker spoke very fast and everything is played only once. Please make your notes. Read the questions first. What should Jamie have done differently to prevent getting lost? What should he have brought with him? What should he have done? And just make a note of these. He have done before leaving for the hike. What shouldn't he have done? And what should he have done once he became lost? So note down your answers as I play this. Of course, today I'm going to play it twice. In these classes, I play the recording twice so that you do not miss out.
Ma'am, while you're playing the audio, we'll be able to see the questions, right?
Yes, I'll get back to this immediately.
Okay, thank you.
Jamie is lost in the woods. He left his hiking group to explore on his own. Now he realizes that he shouldn't have separated from the hiking group. He should have listened to the hiking leader. He also should have brought a trail map with him. Most importantly, he shouldn't have left all his food supplies in his wife's backpack. Furthermore, he probably shouldn't have been listening to music while the hiking leader explained wilderness survival skills. As it starts to get dark, Jamie realizes that he should have built a shelter. He should have gathered branches for a shelter while there was still daylight. He also shouldn't have forgotten his flashlight at home. If he can just make it back to camp tomorrow, he won't ever be so foolish again.
So did you make a note? The answers? I'll play it again. Just check your answers, please.
Jamie is lost in the woods. He left his hiking group to explore on his own. Now he realizes that he shouldn't have separated from the hiking group. He should have listened to the hiking leader. He also should have brought a trail map with him. Most importantly, he shouldn't have left all his food supplies in his wife's backpack. Furthermore, he probably shouldn't have been listening to music while the hiking leader explained wilderness survival skills. As it starts to get dark, Jamie realizes that he should have built a shelter. He should have gathered branches for his shelter while there was still daylight. He also shouldn't have forgotten his flashlight at home. If he can just make it back to camp tomorrow, he won't ever be so foolish again.
All right. You all heard that? Ready with the answers? Yes. Okay. So let me ask each of you. I'll be taking your names. First one. Let's start with Anita. So Kaplesh.
Yes, ma'am.
Go ahead. First.
Jamie should have listened to the hiking leader and brought that hiking map.
Okay. Let me ask a different person. See, there are going to be more recordings, so I'll be asking everybody. Sneha, the next question.
He should have brought a trial map with him.
All right. Deepak, the next one.
First question is should we,
No,
which one? No, sorry.
Oh, we need to look at this. The third one and the fifth one.
Fifth one I also didn't get, ma'am. Third one, what should I have done before leaving for hiking? Shelter something I heard, ma'am.
Oh, really? Is it so? I'm going to play it once again. Please listen to the questions carefully.
Okay,
This is the information for each person. yes?
Ma'am, he bought the food supplies.
But I need the correct. I need the complete sentence.
He should have bought the.
Hey, one of you. Yes, Manmeet.
He should have packed the food supplies before leaving for the.
Okay. Right. And the last one, who can give me then?
He should have gathered branch leaves to make shelter.
He should have gathered?
Branch leaves to make shelter.
He should have built his shelter after he was.
He should have gathered branch leaves.
Branches. Okay. Leaves.
Branches.
Fine. All right. Then I'm moving on to the next one. And this time, listen to it carefully. Let's have another one. These are perfect models. What do we call perfect models? Should have done this, could have done that. These are all perfect models. We use the word have also after them. So let me play this. Please go through the questions before I play. What does the hiking leader think Jamie might have done? What does Jamie's wife think may have happened to Jamie? What does his friend think? When Jamie still hasn't been found 2 days later, what do people think may have happened to Jamie? Name 2 things. Right, so let's go ahead.
Jamie's hiking group realizes that Jamie is missing. Everyone is concerned as it begins to get dark. The hiking leader thinks that Jamie might have wandered back to the park entrance. However, when he radios the park warden, they discover that Jamie is not at the park entrance. Everyone begins to fear the worst. Jamie's wife thinks that he may have been eaten by a bear. His friend Paul thinks that he could have been injured and unable to return to the group. 2 days later, the group is still extremely worried about Jamie alone in the forest without supplies. Some people fear that he may have frozen to death, while others fear that he may have become weak from starvation.
Were you able to note down? I'm going to play it again. Here we go.
Jamie's hiking group realizes that Jamie is missing. Everyone is concerned as it begins to get dark. The hiking leader thinks that Jamie might have wandered back to the park entrance. However, when he radios the park warden, they discover that Jamie is not at the park entrance. Everyone begins to fear the worst. Jamie's wife thinks that he may have been eaten by a bear. His friend Paul thinks that he could have been injured and unable to return to the group. 2 days later, the group is still extremely worried about Jamie alone in the forest without supplies. Some people fear that he may have frozen to death, while others fear that he may have become weak from starvation.
I think this time it should have been better. Sneha, the first one.
Yeah, ma'am. Jamie might have wandered back to the park entrance.
Correct. Oh, that was good. He might have some chances are there. Next one. Yes, who would like to? Somebody who did not. Himuja, the second one.
Ma'am, second one I did not get.
Okay, let me ask somebody else. Simrat, did you get the second one?
Yes, ma'am. He may have been eaten by a bear.
Correct. He may have been eaten by a bear. That's what his wife thinks. Let's move on to the next one. Yes, Deepak.
His friends think that he was injured and unable to return to the group.
If they think that he was injured, that means
he may be injured. He may be injured. He may be injured.
He may be injured.
Could have been injured.
Might be
It
injured.
could have got injured.
Could have been.
Past possibility, right? He could have got injured. It's not that he was injured or he may be injured. He could have got injured, right? The possibility over there. All right. Let's move on to the next one. So when Jamie still hasn't been found 2 days later, what do people think may have happened to Jamie? You need to name 2 things. So whom should I ask now? Sora. Yes, Sora?
He could have alone in the forest and might be frozen or starved for a week.
See, the question is, what do you think may have happened to Jamie? So we are looking at the possibility.
Lost in the forest, I think.
Let's have the complete sentence. He may. Was it he may have been lost in the forest?
He may have lost in the forest.
May have been lost in the forest.
May have been lost in the forest.
Let me ask somebody else. Prabjit?
People think he may be weak due to starvation.
He may be weak, or should we say he may have become weak?
May have become weak from the starvation.
Right? It's not he may be weak, but he may have become weak. He may have frozen to death. Correct, Simrat? Please mute yourselves, huh? And there are kids at home, so just mute yourself every time you've spoken. So he may have frozen to death. That's one. He may have become weak. That's the second one. Good. Let's move on to the third one. There's one more. So please try this time. Ensure that you get the correct answers. So perfect modals. Now in your listening, at times you listen to certain things where these modals are used. So you should pay attention to which model is used. Let's move on. So what could have happened to Jamie in the forest? You have to name 3 things. So just listen to it and note down those 3 things.
3 days after being lost in the wilderness, Jamie finally makes it back to camp. He is reunited with his hiking group and his wife. They are all happy and relieved to see him. Jamie is relieved to be alive. He could have starved to death in the forest. Jamie didn't have a map, and he could have wandered further into the forest instead of finding his way back. He could have even frozen to death or been attacked by wild animals. He could have fallen and hurt himself and never made it back. He feels grateful to have survived.
This time you all use the chat box and write these 3 things. 3 things. Okay, I've got one. He could have been starved to death. Jamie could have frozen to death. He could have gone further in the forest. He could have wandered. Wandered was the word. Okay, Sora, we won't say he could have been wandered. He could have wandered. He could have forced to death by, no, we won't say he could have forced to death. Prabjit? Let me bring, I'm bringing your sentence over here. Ensure that this kind of mistake is not made. I'll just bring it over here. This is what I just noticed. This. So he could have starved to death? No. Put the past participle form. He could have starved to death. He could have been frozen. Right. He could have eaten up. No, we won't say he could have eaten up by animals. Something is missing over here. All right, let's discuss now. Can anyone help? What is missing in this? I've just received this. He could have eaten up by animals.
It could have been eaten by animals.
Perfect. He could have been eaten by animals. Could have been eaten. So this is wrong. He could have been eaten. This is needed in between. Good. That was really good. He could have been starved to death. He could have been eaten by animals. Good, Ramya. Absolutely correct. I think things have been understood. So next time when you do your listening practice, just listen to such words also carefully in your speaking. Take care of these models because you may convey a different meaning if you use the wrong one. Let me move further. So past tense is like this, right? Past tense models. Necessity in the past, like Joe had to cook dinner for the family. I had to do this. I had to do that. I had to go there. According to the situation. Ability, we use could. Victor could read when he was 4. He was able to. So either you use he was able to, or you can use he could read. Do not use both together, as I shared with you all at the beginning. We won't say Victor could able to read. That's wrong. Then repeated action in the past. When I was 8, I used to ride my bike home from school with my friends. We would cover 3 miles in about 20 minutes. So we would do this. We would ride 3 miles in about 20 minutes. We'd ride. The word ride should come here. Okay. Advisability in the past. Like he should have done this, should have done that. Suppose you require more points for going to Canada, then somebody might tell you later on, oh, you should have taken French lessons also. You should have learned another language. He must have forgotten about it. Must have. Certainty. There's possibility in the past, but certain. He must have forgotten about it. So this way we use these models in the past. So we've used different models to talk about various things today. Do you have a doubt now? Or have you understood different things?
For live online IELTS classes by expert instructors, log on to youknowlearning.com.